Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. Got Dominic Milano in the building. But before I get to that, I got the always handsome David Mitchell on the call today. Big Dave, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, P? Not much. Another episode. Excited for this special guest we got here today.
I agree, man. And being JUCO guys, we have to always start with our JUCO roots. And Dom, I know JUCO is a big part of your story as a player and now as a coach. Talk about the JUCO route and why it's important for athletes.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on. I mean, I've been following you guys for a while. I've never done
Thank
a
you.
podcast before, so
Thank you.
I'm a little nervous here, but nah, I'm just kidding. It's all good. I'm excited to be on here, and I appreciate you guys. You guys do a great job of shining a the mental health for athletes, and obviously it's such a big thing. So, and even, as a player and even as a coach, it's such a big thing. So I appreciate you guys having me on and thinking I can am, good enough candidate to talk about it. So, but no, the JUCO route to me, I mean, it's everything. Like it's I feel like it's helped shape me and that's why I feel like I'm back in the position as a coach now because it changed my life for the better, and I'm just trying to give back to the boys and the young men that I got so much from my JUCO coaches and all the coaches around me. So for me, it's just about trying to serve these young guys and try to put them in a better position at 19 or 20 years old than when they're 17 or 18 years old. And I think that's what's so cool about junior college.
No doubt. I think that's a very selfless answer from a selfless guy, man. Obviously, Dom, I've run into you in different baseball circles. We haven't really met in person, but anybody that my brother speaks highly of, man, that's a no-brainer. I trust his judgment and character. And even in the JUCO world as a player, in the JUCO world now at Harper, I'm gonna be very blunt for my second question. Since I've been a high school player, Harper has never been relevant in our area. They never have. And then all of a sudden, this Don Milano guy comes along, takes over the program, and all of a sudden you guys start winning. And now people want to go play at that school. Talk about the rebirth of the Harper Hawks and what do you think the reason for that is?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I have two great coaches with me that help me tremendously, and I can lean on. One of them I played 3 years at JUCO with, so there's a lot of familiarity with him. And then the other one, I've grown really close with as well, and we had a mutual connection as well. And for me, I've had a lot of great people in my life support me. I have a great family. I have great younger brothers that, I got to grow up around and be around and learn the game from. And, for me is like we try to keep it really simple and try to focus on four things. Like we try to love, we try to communicate, we try to be resilient, and we try to be mindful. And for us, like those are our four pillars at Harper, and we talk about it and we just want to try to live it. And for me, like we want the kids to know we cares, and then if we care, I think they're gonna care back, and it takes the kind of the selfishness out of the JUCO, because JUCO can be a very selfish area of baseball if you let it be. So we try to play for each other and try to play for the guy next to you and make it about winning and letting where you're gonna go to school take care of itself.
Great answer. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I have another question for you off of the coaching part of it. What's one mental health lesson you've learned from coaching that you wish more people understood now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think like something that I've learned from the coaching side of it is like you really don't know where the kid's at when they're there, and I could say the same for myself. Like I think the biggest thing that we have tried to make our environment is make you be able to be vulnerable. And those kids show up to the field and that could be the highlight of their day, and and they can go home after and we don't know what's going on, and that's why we try to make it as a vulnerable environment as we can. So we're comfortable talking to each other. They're comfortable talking to me. They're comfortable talking to our other two coaches. They're comfortable talking to each other. So it's just, you really don't know where they're at on a daily basis unless you are able to get them to be vulnerable. And that's why we try so much to get them to be vulnerable with us and vulnerable with each other.
Yeah, I think that's huge for not just coaching, but for in life, just building relationships with people and being okay to talk about a subject that you may be holding in for a long time. That's huge for mental health. I like that answer a lot.
Thank you.
I agree. I agree. And I think as former players, Dave, as coaches, right, we might not always know what the kids are going through and what's going on at home and their girlfriends, whatever else, right? But we can't control the open door. We can't control the relationship that we build with each and every one of the players, right? We can control, how you discipline, right? Because some kids need the, figure it out. And some kids need the, hey, I love you, I believe in you, but like we've set these expectations and goals. Like let's go. Like everybody's different. Coaching isn't cookie cutter. We always talk about that. Dom, another thing, man. Obviously, you're a pretty good player back in the day, man. Had to grab the Butler headshot, and then we put down the promo stuff. Division 1 guy. How'd you get there, man? What was the X factor playing Division 1?
Well, first of all, I wasn't very good, so I appreciate you saying that. You know, I tell my kids all the time, you guys are a lot better than I was. So, thanks for saying that. I mean, those are
Oh,
two of the best years of my life. I mean, and I think I got to appreciate it so much just because of what I had to go through to get there. So, I played for my dad in high school, which was not easy. Being a coach's kid, people think it's, really easy. That was very mentally challenging and very mentally draining. I had Tommy John surgery in 2019. I had another elbow surgery in 2021. And what my parents have always taught me is to, fight and to be resilient. And, I still try to live that every single day. And I'm thankful and blessed to be able to play that I was able to play at Butler. And I just honestly, I wasn't really skilled enough. I just really think I just believed and I tried to will the way there because that was what I wanted to do my whole life was to try to play Division 1 baseball.
I love what you just said. You willed your way there. Dive deeper into that. Because you did have talent, man. Like you're a good player. I was recruiting players during that time, and like you were in conversations, right? Like you could play the game. What were some things that helped you will your way there? Like, give me an example of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think honestly, as much of the physical stuff it is, I think turning my life more over to God, and I know that's kind of crazy, silly to say maybe, but I think that really, when I started to have faith and started to, pray and read the Bible and go to church and do those things and talk about my faith, like my life really started to change. And I think even to this day, like, bad things happen and you put yourself in a position and ultimately like I just am trying to trust God's path for me and trust God's path for those around me and, putting my life in his hands has really, I think really helped me a ton.
Yeah, I would agree. We're men of faith today on the podcast, and it's something that has changed my entire life. I know it's changed Dave's. You start looking at things differently. You mentioned a couple big time injuries, right? Tommy John is no joke, right? You mentioned another arm injury down the road. Where's the keep going moment in all this? Like, what was the thing that should have knocked you down? Was it the injuries? Was it some setbacks? You tell me.
Yeah, I think first of all, like I have in my brother's room, he has a keep going poster. Like we've talked about as a family, as a coach, as a player, like keep going, and my girlfriend tells me all the time, my parents tell me all the time, like, it's a pretty common word in our house, is keep going. And I don't know honestly if there's one moment that kind of made it click, but I think it's like a culmination of things like all the adversity that you have to deal with. And I'm not, different than anyone else. Everyone has to deal with adversity. Everybody has hard things that they have to go through, but I think I can't really pinpoint one point in time I had a moment, but I just think like right now especially like, I just got to keep going and I think to me, probably the biggest moment is showing up for the kids every single day that I coach. Like that's my keep going moment because they rely on me just like I rely on them. So I think honestly right now is the biggest keep going moment for me is just coaching these boys every single day.
Fantastic answer. And I'm gonna kick it over to Dave in a second. Um, I was on a podcast on Friday, over at Oak Strength. Adam Lane, shout the boys out at Oak Strength. Just fantastic what they're doing for young athletes. And we were talking about this, how in today's era, and we have a lot of, Dave knows, and you probably know too, Dom, we have a lot of parents that listen to this. Like it's kind of our dynamic as parents, coaches, and players.
Hmm.
There's a lot of coaches out there that are looking at these kids as dollar signs. They are at the travel ball level when it comes to high school, even. How can I get these guys off so I look better? College
Hmm.
level. How do I get this guy Division 1 so my program gets whatever? At a time like this, it's never been more important to have a coach like you giving that answer. That you're waking up every day and your purpose is to serve for those kids. That's what we need. And that's why I hope our class of coaches, right, 20s and 30s, start seeing more into that. In an NIL era, it's pretty rare, man. So I commend you for doing that. And I love you for that, man, because I know that Harper has historically never been the way it is now. And after the last couple of years, man, it's been a fun follow. And I believe that you guys are going to do big things, man.
Thank you so much.
Dave, go ahead. David Mitchell's mailbag, baby. Let's ride.
Yeah, I think being a student athlete, being a coach, what advice would you give to someone that is playing a sport, maybe in college, and is always looking into the future and is always looking at the result? Because you did set these goals and expectations and you did play at the high level, but that could be a lot of expectations for a lot of people, but not everyone gets there. What advice would you tell them that may be struggling with getting to their result goal?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we talk about it all the time, and I tell recruits this all the time, and I try to tell our team this all the time is like run your own race, and everybody's race is going to look different. But if you're worried about, so and so's race, or you're not worried about your own race, like you're gonna put yourself in a position where you're not going to get to that finish line that you can get to as fast as you can. So it's like everyone's time is going to be different for me. And like the other thing with that is like, when you're driving on the highway and there's no street lights and you just have the lights in front of you on the car, like you just got to go as far as you can see. And I think that's something that like one of my coaches told me before that I try to live with. Like, just go with what you know and just keep going until you kind of get to that spot that you want to get to.
Let's keep going, baby. Yeah,
Yep,
Dave.
keep going.
Is there anything that you do that helps you stay present in the time?
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit before, but I think really just like leaning on God, especially lately for me, like that's been really important is just trusting Him and trusting that He's gonna make a way, just like He always does. Like when bad things happen, like He's gonna make things better than ever before. So really, my faith has helped me with that, and I try to take that into the team as much as I can. I've had kids come to church with me. I've had kids text me Bible verses. They're starting a Bible study this year. Like it's for me, it's been really cool because that's ultimately what I feel like we're all here to do is to serve God. And for me to have the kids start to reflect that as well is to me the ultimate goal, sign of success. Like that's what I measure success by.
Yeah, servant leadership over the X's and O's and W's and L's. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, leaning on something is important. For me, it's my faith as well. I think when you do go through that hard time of uncertainty, maybe going through an injury or just feeling a little isolated, it is super important to lean on something such as faith. I like that a lot. If a parent, athlete, or coach may be listening today, what advice would you give them if they're struggling with something?
Yeah, I'd just say, use those around you, use the tools around you for success that you have. Like, everybody has support around them, whether it's, a parent, a brother, a friend, like we've mentioned, their faith. Use those and be vocal and be around an environment where you're comfortable talking about that and put yourself in a position where you have great people around you because there are a ton of great people out there that want to listen, that want to help. And ultimately, like I think it comes down to being vulnerable enough to talk to it and say it and do it, which is really hard. It really is hard to be open. But I think the more vulnerable you are, the more you say how you feel, like the easier it's going to continue to be to talk, but also down the line, it's going to be even easier to help people with that as well. And then, it kind of becomes roles reversed and you put yourself in that position where you can be the person that's helping as well.
Yeah, be a good person. You never know what someone else may be going through. Reach out to friends as well. Just checking on people is important. Is there anything else that you want to say to our audience today that we may have missed?
No, once again I appreciate you guys having me on. Like it's this is the first, like I said, the first time I've ever gotten to do something like this. So it's really cool and I my whole goal was here to come here and, not talk about myself and my journey, but talk about being able to serve God and serve my players and ultimately just trying to put them in a position to be successful because that's what it's all about.
If that's what you were looking to do, man, you knocked it out of the park. Selfless is the word that continues to come up, and I apologize for our listeners. I'm going to keep saying it because this is something where you've decided to put God before self. And while doing that, you've walked into situations like a Harper where when you got there, now you look around and these kids are having Bible studies. These kids are winning baseball games because of culture and community over necessarily skills, right? Like, I think there's a lot of beauty in that. And as a JUCO guy, that makes me happy that, Region 4 and the JUCO in the Midwest is in good hands, man. So, Don Milano, this guy, man, I got to get more connected with you on the recruiting front, but I really want to get more connected with you on the faith front, man, because you've inspired me and a lot of others today, man.
Thank you guys again for having me on. I had a blast. You guys are both great guys, and you guys are doing great things for our athletes. So appreciate both of you guys. Thank you.
Always, man. Well, Big Dave, Don Milano, Sunday. A lot of football still to come. A lot of faith on this Sunday still to come. And above all else, keep going, everybody. Have a good week.